Time is the one resource that never waits, and the actions you take today determine the life you live tomorrow. In the next few minutes, you will discover strategies that can completely transform your habits, mindset, and results in just 6 months. This audiobook provides practical step-by-step guidance to help you plan, focus, take risks, and celebrate every victory along the way. Every principle is designed to be actionable, so you can implement change immediately and see tangible results. Subscribe now to commit to your growth and unlock the tools for lasting transformation. Number 1. Plan daily wins consistently. Every life transformation begins with a single deliberate action. Change does not arrive in grand gestures or sudden breakthroughs. It arrives through consistent, purposeful steps taken every single day. Planning daily wins is about reclaiming control over your time, your energy, and your focus, so that every day becomes a building block toward a life you truly desire. It is not about perfection, and it is not about completing every task on a list. It is about intentionally designing each day so that small, meaningful victories accumulate into unstoppable momentum. The first step in planning daily wins is recognizing the power of intention. Most people drift through their days, reacting to notifications, obligations, and the demands of others. They end their evenings wondering where the time went, feeling frustrated or defeated. Planning daily wins flips this model. It places you in the driver's seat, where every decision is guided by purpose. Each morning or even the night before, identify what victories you must achieve the next day. These are not abstract goals. They are tangible, actionable steps. Instead of get fit, a daily win would be complete a 30-minute workout before breakfast. Instead of be more productive, a daily win would be finish the top priority report by 11 a.m. Clarity transforms intention into action. Consistency is the heart of planning daily wins. A single successful day is inspiring, but it does not transform your life. Transformation comes from repeated wins, stacked day after day. Consider how small victories compound. Completing a workout today strengthens your discipline. Tomorrow you feel motivated to push further. And in 6 months, the habit is no longer a struggle, but a part of your identity. Each win feeds your confidence and reinforces your belief in your ability to grow. Without consistency, momentum dissipates and progress stalls. The goal is not to win every battle perfectly, but to show up every day and secure victories wherever possible. Even small wins matter when they become habitual. A practical method to ensure daily wins is to break your day into structured segments. Start with a clear plan for the morning. The morning sets the tone for everything that follows. Choose a single high-impact task that aligns with your long-term goals and commit to completing it first. Avoid distractions until this critical task is done. This practice, often called eating the frog, allows you to gain a sense of accomplishment early, making the rest of the day smoother and more productive. Each completed task, no matter how small, becomes a psychological victory that fuels your motivation. In addition to morning planning, use midday checkpoints to assess your progress. Life is unpredictable. Interruptions and unforeseen demands occur. A midday review allows you to adjust priorities and ensure that the most important wins are still on track. Ask yourself, which tasks will have the biggest impact if completed today? Which actions align with my long-term vision? This pause is not about rigidity, but about conscious alignment. Daily wins are most powerful when they are intentional, not accidental. Planning daily wins also requires understanding the balance between challenge and achievability. Wins should stretch your abilities, yet remain realistic. Setting unattainable goals creates stress and discouragement, while setting goals too small fosters complacency. Identify the tasks that will push your limits, just enough to build resilience and skill. Completing these tasks consistently is far more empowering than sporadic, extraordinary achievement. Over time, the accumulation of these manageable but meaningful victories reshapes your self-discipline and sharpens your sense of purpose. Actionable tools can help turn daily planning into a habit. Maintaining a journal or digital planner allows you to track your wins systematically. Begin each day by listing 2 to 3 non-negotiable victories, actions that, if completed, will define the day as successful. At night, review these wins and reflect on your progress. What worked? What was avoided or postponed? How can tomorrow be stronger? Reflection cements learning and reinforces accountability. A day that ends without reflection is a day of missed opportunity. Daily wins are not limited to work or external achievements. They also include personal growth, emotional mastery, and self-care. Completing a challenging workout, reading a chapter of a book, or engaging in meaningful conversation all count as wins. The philosophy here is holistic. Life improvement is not one-dimensional. When wins extend to multiple facets of life, physical, intellectual, emotional, they compound to create profound transformation. Planning daily wins is as much about becoming stronger, wiser, and calmer as it is about checking off tasks on a list. Momentum is the silent engine behind daily wins. One victory leads to another. As you consistently complete planned actions, your energy, focus, and confidence multiply. Discipline becomes less about forcing yourself and more about honoring a commitment to yourself. You stop relying on fleeting motivation and instead cultivate a reliable internal system of progress. Wins create proof that you can control your actions, shape your environment, and move steadily toward your goals. This proof becomes a shield against doubt, discouragement, and the external chaos that inevitably arises. Planning daily wins also requires embracing the concept of strategic abandonment. Not every task deserves your energy. Learn to say no to low-value activities, distractions, or urgent but inconsequential demands. Protect your capacity for high-impact wins. Stoic wisdom reminds us that focus is freedom. Every win you intentionally plan is a choice. Every distraction you ignore is a reinforcement of your autonomy. By mastering what you attend to, you shape your days and ultimately your life. It is essential to recognize that setbacks will occur. You may fail to complete a task or experience unexpected obstacles. Daily wins are not about perfection. They are about persistence. When a plan falters, analyze what happened, adjust your approach, and recommit the next day. Each day is independent, but connected. Progress accumulates, and resilience is cultivated. The habit of planning wins trains your mind to recover quickly, to focus on solutions, and to move forward with clarity. This mental fortitude is the true reward of daily planning. Visualization is another powerful component. Begin your day by imagining the wins you will achieve. Picture completing your tasks with precision and satisfaction. Feel the emotions of success, the pride and the relief. Visualization primes your brain for action, making the abstract tangible and the challenging achievable. Coupled with deliberate planning, it strengthens resolve and heightens performance. The mind responds to imagery, and when reinforced daily, your intentions translate seamlessly into action. Finally, the practice of celebrating wins, even small ones, is crucial. Acknowledge completion, savor progress, and allow yourself a moment of gratitude. Recognition of effort fuels motivation and reinforces behavior. Success is not only about the grand milestones, but also the quiet victories of disciplined action, thoughtful decision-making, and consistent effort. These celebrations create positive feedback loops that enhance performance, focus, and enjoyment of the journey. Planning daily wins consistently transforms ordinary days into purposeful ones, drifting existence into deliberate progress. It is not magic or luck that drives profound change, but disciplined, intentional action repeated day after day. Each win, no matter how small, compounds into confidence, skill, and momentum. By designing your day around achievable, meaningful victories, you build a foundation that can support life-altering transformation in 6 months or less. The choice is clear. Either let life unfold by chance, or craft it with purpose. Daily wins are the keystone, the habit, and the strategy that allow change to become inevitable. Success is built one day at a time, one deliberate win after another. Each morning offers a chance to decide, to plan, and to act. Each night offers a moment to reflect, adjust, and prepare for the next victory. Over time, the accumulation of these wins reshapes identity, strengthens resolve, and rewires the mind for excellence. The power of 6 months lies not in its length, but in the intentionality applied within it. Daily wins are the bridge between who you are now and who you are capable of becoming. The first step is simple: choose your victories, plan your day around them, and commit to consistency. Discipline is not the absence of desire, but the mastery of action. Momentum is not random, but cultivated through deliberate effort. Change is not accidental, but engineered through intentional, consistent daily wins. Begin today, plan your victories, and witness how 6 months of consistent action transforms your life into something extraordinary. Number 2, track progress without excuses. Progress is meaningless if it cannot be measured, observed, and evaluated. Without tracking, even the most disciplined efforts risk drifting into inefficiency or stagnation. To transform your life in 6 months, you must develop the skill of monitoring your actions, results, and behaviors with honesty and precision. Tracking progress without excuses is not about perfectionism or obsession. It is about clarity, responsibility, and actionable insight. It is about understanding exactly where you are today, so that you can steer deliberately toward where you want to be tomorrow. The foundation of tracking progress begins with awareness. Awareness requires honesty, the ability to look at your actions and results without justification or rationalization. It is easy to make excuses. I was too busy, I didn't have the energy, or it wasn't the right time. Excuses are a form of self-deception, masking gaps in discipline and understanding. Each day, reflect on what you did, what you accomplished, and where you fell short. Ask precise questions. Did I do what I intended? Did I give my best effort? Did I make the right decisions under pressure? The answers form the raw data for meaningful evaluation. Creating a system for tracking is essential. Systems transform intentions into consistent practices. A simple journal, spreadsheet, or digital app can serve as your tracking tool. Every action, goal, or habit should have measurable criteria. For example, if your objective is to improve fitness, track not just whether you exercised, but for how long, at what intensity, and with what results. If your goal is learning, track pages read, exercises completed or concepts mastered. Numbers, percentages, or completed milestones provide clarity that feelings alone cannot. Without a concrete system, progress is a foggy perception, subject to bias and wishful thinking. Tracking progress without excuses demands specificity. Vague statements like "I did okay" or "I tried my best" are insufficient. Real tracking requires quantifiable evidence. For instance, instead of noting "worked on project," write "completed 3 tasks from project checklist, spent 2 focused hours, and solved 1 major problem." These details illuminate performance patterns, uncover weaknesses, and reveal strengths. They also provide motivation. Seeing tangible evidence of progress, even small increments, reinforces your capacity to grow and improves morale. Equally important is the practice of daily reflection. Set aside time each day to review your actions. Examine what worked and what didn't, and identify the reasons behind successes or failures. Reflection is not about judgment, it is about understanding. Ask yourself, did I allocate my energy wisely? Did I maintain focus on priorities? Where did I waste time or deviate from my plan? This disciplined assessment transforms ordinary effort into strategic growth. It reveals patterns that would otherwise remain hidden, allowing you to make informed adjustments. Tracking also exposes hidden obstacles. Often we believe we are making progress while subtle inefficiencies erode results. By recording every step and evaluating outcomes, you reveal behaviors, habits, and decisions that hinder advancement. Maybe distractions consume more time than realized, or certain routines deliver little value. Identifying these obstacles allows for intentional elimination or adjustment. This transparency ensures that your 6-month transformation is based on accurate understanding, not wishful assumptions. Consistency in tracking is non-negotiable. Sporadic reviews or occasional logging create a false sense of progress. The real value emerges from habitual recording and assessment. Make it a daily discipline. Morning, midday, or evening, choose a time and stick to it. This commitment builds accountability, strengthens focus, and eliminates ambiguity. When progress is tracked daily, small adjustments compound into meaningful gains, creating momentum that cannot be achieved by intuition alone. Avoiding excuses requires psychological rigor. It is natural to rationalize setbacks, but rationalization undermines growth. Instead, adopt the mindset of responsibility. Accept the outcomes of your actions, good or bad, without blaming circumstances, people, or chance. Accountability is liberating because it shifts control entirely into your hands. You cannot always control external events, but you can control your effort, decisions, and response. Tracking progress without excuses is the practical expression of this self-mastery. It is a clear acknowledgement that your future depends entirely on your present actions. Visualization enhances tracking by connecting quantitative data to emotional reality. As you review your progress, imagine the trajectory your efforts create. Picture yourself 6 months from now shaped by the consistent actions you document today. Visualizing outcomes strengthens resolve and reinforces the significance of accurate tracking. When you see the cause and effect relationship between effort and result, it becomes impossible to ignore areas that require improvement or to justify half-hearted effort. The mind internalizes these patterns and primes you for consistent, purposeful action. Tracking also fosters strategic adjustment. Life is unpredictable, and rigid adherence to an ineffective plan is counterproductive. Progress tracking provides the insight to pivot intelligently. If certain methods fail, if time allocation is inefficient, or if habits produce less impact than anticipated, adjustments can be made swiftly and decisively. Without tracking, you may repeat errors for months, wasting energy and delaying transformation. With tracking, you gain clarity on what is working and what requires refinement. This adaptability is critical in a 6-month journey toward profound change. Equally vital is documenting lessons learned. Every day provides feedback. Every effort teaches a lesson. Write down insights, breakthroughs, and mistakes. Over time, this record becomes a personalized guidebook for growth, a map of what works, what falters, and how to respond effectively. Tracking progress without excuses is not merely about numbers. It is about cultivating wisdom through observation and reflection. Each entry is a seed of knowledge that informs better decisions and accelerates development. Embrace the compound effect of tracked progress. Even small, incremental wins recorded faithfully accumulate into massive change. Completing one productive task today may seem minor, but when tracked and repeated over weeks and months, it transforms into skill, discipline, and confidence. The power of documentation lies in its ability to make invisible effort visible. Seeing tangible evidence of your journey creates motivation, accountability, and clarity. It removes ambiguity and replaces it with actionable insight. The final component is transparency with yourself. Tracking is only effective if you maintain brutal honesty, ignore excuses, inflated claims, and wishful thinking. This honesty is the cornerstone of real progress. Your records must reflect reality, not perception. If a day falls short of expectations, acknowledge it, understand the reasons, and plan to improve. Over time, this unflinching honesty strengthens resilience, sharpens decision-making, and nurtures a disciplined mindset capable of sustaining high performance. Tracking progress without excuses transforms ordinary ambition into measurable achievement. It converts vague intentions into actionable insights. It illuminates your strengths and weaknesses, empowers strategic adjustment, and fuels continuous improvement. By committing to daily observation, honest reflection, and precise documentation, you cultivate an internal compass that guides every choice, every action, and every decision. Over 6 months, this practice transforms not only your results, but your character, discipline, and capacity for sustained success. Every day becomes a feedback loop. Act, record, reflect, adjust. No energy is wasted, no effort goes unnoticed, and no excuses can derail you. 6 months of faithful, unflinching tracking can create dramatic, undeniable change. By holding yourself accountable, measuring your actions rigorously, and refusing to rationalize failures, you build a life driven by insight, focus, and relentless forward momentum. Progress becomes inevitable because it is observed, evaluated, and acted upon deliberately. Tracking progress without excuses is not a task. It is a mindset. It is a discipline that transforms uncertainty into clarity, chaos into order, and ambition into measurable success. It is the daily ritual that converts potential into reality. By embracing it, your 6-month journey toward total transformation is no longer left to chance. It becomes a carefully engineered, consistently monitored, and powerfully executed plan for mastery over your life. Commit to it today. Observe your actions, evaluate results, and face each day with honesty and rigor. In 6 months, the cumulative effect of precise, excuse-free tracking will be undeniable. You will look back and see the person you are becoming, forged through accountability, insight, and unwavering dedication. Progress tracked without excuses is not merely a habit. It is the foundation upon which an extraordinary life is built. Number 3, replace bad habits immediately. Change is never sustainable when it is postponed. Every moment spent tolerating habits that limit your potential is a moment stolen from the person you are capable of becoming. Bad habits are the silent architects of stagnation. They subtly shape your energy, attention, and decisions while you remain unaware of their cumulative impact. To transform your life in 6 months, replacing destructive routines is not optional. It is urgent. Immediate action ensures that momentum is not lost and that your progress is not undermined by recurring patterns of self-sabotage. The first step in replacing a bad habit is recognition. Habits often operate in the background, almost invisibly, shaping behaviors without conscious awareness. Identifying which patterns drain your productivity, erode your focus, or harm your well-being requires careful observation. Consider your daily routines and pinpoint actions that consistently yield negative consequences. It may be procrastination, excessive screen time, unhealthy eating, or reactive behavior under stress. Whatever form it takes, clarity about its existence is essential because awareness is the gateway to transformation. You cannot replace what you refuse to acknowledge. Once identified, the habit must be confronted directly. Avoiding or rationalizing destructive behavior only strengthens its hold. Confrontation involves honest assessment, understanding not only the habit itself, but the triggers, rewards, and context that sustain it. Most habits are cyclical. They arise from specific cues and are reinforced by immediate gratification. By dissecting the cycle, you gain control over the mechanics that perpetuate the behavior. When you see the link between trigger and reaction clearly, the path to intervention becomes actionable rather than abstract. Replacement requires immediate substitution. Simply stopping a habit without providing an alternative often leads to relapse. The human mind seeks comfort, routine, and reward. When a habit is removed abruptly, the brain searches for another outlet, often reverting to old behaviors. Therefore, each destructive habit should be paired with a constructive alternative that satisfies the same underlying need. For example, if stress triggers unhealthy snacking, replace it with a short walk, deep breathing, or a brief journaling exercise. If scrolling social media distracts from focused work, substitute it with a 5-minute task that advances your priority goal. Immediate replacement ensures continuity while redirecting energy toward growth. Consistency is non-negotiable when replacing habits. Transformation does not occur through sporadic attempts or intermittent effort. Each repetition reinforces neural pathways, gradually establishing a new pattern that becomes automatic. The process demands persistence, particularly when the habit is deeply ingrained. Expect resistance from your own mind. Urges, rationalizations, and discomfort are inevitable. Success lies not in eliminating the discomfort, but in acting despite it, in choosing deliberately each time to follow the new pattern rather than the old. Timing amplifies effectiveness. Addressing habits as soon as they manifest in daily life prevents them from becoming entrenched. Delaying action allows reinforcement of the old pattern, making it progressively more difficult to replace. Immediate intervention creates a psychological association. Every time the trigger appears, your response is purposeful, not habitual. This creates momentum, and over time, the new behavior supplants the old almost effortlessly. Waiting only strengthens resistance and prolongs unnecessary struggle. Environment is a powerful ally in habit replacement. Surround yourself with cues that support your desired behaviors, and remove those that reinforce destructive routines. If unhealthy snacks dominate your kitchen, replace them with nourishing options. If distractions abound in your workspace, Create a dedicated environment that promotes focus. Your surroundings communicate constantly with your mind, either reinforcing old patterns or encouraging new ones. By intentionally designing your environment, you reduce friction and increase the likelihood of success in habit replacement. Monitoring progress is essential. Tracking the success of your replacement efforts provides accountability and insight. Daily reflection helps identify where the new habit is thriving and where old patterns resist displacement. Writing down successes and setbacks creates a feedback loop, allowing precise adjustments. Progress is rarely linear. Lapses will occur. Recognizing them without self-condemnation and immediately reaffirming commitment to the new habit strengthens resilience. Measurement ensures that replacement is not wishful thinking but tangible, observable change. Mindset is a critical determinant of success. Approaching habit replacement with discipline, patience, and self-respect transforms the effort from punishment into empowerment. Rather than seeing the process as deprivation or loss, view it as an investment in your future capabilities. Each moment spent choosing a constructive behavior over a destructive one reinforces self-efficacy, proving that your decisions shape your identity and results. This mindset shifts the focus from external circumstances to internal mastery, fostering long-term resilience and growth. Accountability accelerates transformation. Share your goals with someone who can provide perspective, encouragement, and honesty. Accountability magnifies commitment because it extends responsibility beyond the self, reducing the appeal of rationalization. Whether through mentorship, peer support, or digital tracking systems, external accountability ensures that every attempt to replace a habit is observed and reinforced. Social reinforcement, when paired with personal discipline, compounds the likelihood of sustained success. Replacement requires flexibility and adaptation. Some habits resist straightforward substitution and demand creative approaches. Experiment with different strategies until the new behavior satisfies the same need or reward as the old one. If one approach fails, refine it rather than abandoning the effort. The brain is adaptive. Persistence combined with thoughtful adjustment accelerates the formation of new pathways while weakening the old. The process is iterative, and success emerges from consistent refinement and responsiveness to real-world conditions. Immediate action creates momentum that fuels further transformation. When a habit is replaced successfully, the confidence gained spreads into other areas of life. Each victory over a destructive pattern reinforces belief in your capacity to change, strengthens discipline, and energizes other growth efforts. Habits are interconnected. Replacing one often triggers improvement in others, creating a cascading effect. The choice to act now, decisively and consistently, compounds far beyond the initial habit itself. Emotional awareness enhances the replacement process. Understand the feelings and impulses driving your old habit, confronting them without judgment, and redirecting the energy toward constructive alternatives transforms emotional triggers from obstacles into tools for growth. Habits often serve as coping mechanisms. Replacing them without addressing the underlying emotional need risks relapse. By pairing replacement with emotional insight, the new behavior becomes not only sustainable but empowering. Celebrate the small wins. Each successful replacement, each moment of resisting the old pattern, reinforces the new identity you are building. Recognition does not require extravagance. Acknowledgement and internal validation are sufficient. Celebrating progress cultivates positive reinforcement, deepens motivation, and strengthens the neural pathways supporting the new habit. Small victories compound, creating momentum that makes larger behavioral shifts achievable over time. Replacing bad habits immediately is the gateway to self-mastery. Delay prolongs struggle and strengthens the influence of destructive routines. By observing patterns, confronting triggers, substituting constructive alternatives, and tracking progress with discipline and honesty, habits lose their grip and life begins to align with intention. The process is demanding but profoundly liberating. It transforms willpower from a limited resource into a reliable instrument of personal evolution. Every immediate action taken today strengthens the foundation for the extraordinary results 6 months from now. The power of immediate habit replacement lies in its compounding effect. Each conscious decision displaces months or years of unconscious behavior, rewiring identity, focus, and discipline. Over time, small, deliberate interventions accumulate, creating dramatic, lasting change. The urgency is not pressure, it is opportunity. Every moment spent tolerating a habit that limits your potential is a moment that could have been spent building a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. Commit to replace one habit immediately. Begin with clarity about the behavior, its triggers, and the reward it provides. Introduce a purposeful alternative, monitor the outcome, and adapt as needed. Each step, taken without delay, reinforces self-mastery, builds momentum, and accelerates transformation. In 6 months, the person who acts decisively today will live a life fundamentally different from the one who waits. Immediate action, guided by insight and discipline, is the keystone of personal evolution, turning intention into tangible, measurable results. Number 4, invest time in learning. Time is the most valuable resource available, yet it is often squandered in passive consumption or distractions that yield little growth. To transform your life in 6 months, investing time in learning is not optional. It is essential. Knowledge alone does not guarantee success, but deliberate, consistent learning shapes the mind, expands perspective, and equips you with the tools to navigate challenges with skill and confidence. Every hour devoted to acquiring understanding, practicing new skills, or gaining insight compounds into long-term capability. The act of learning is both an investment and a strategy. It ensures that every day contributes to your evolving potential. Learning begins with clarity of purpose. Not all information or skills are equally valuable, and the efficiency of your growth depends on choosing what truly matters. Identify areas that will have the most significant impact on your personal and professional life. These could include mastering a skill that advances your career, developing emotional intelligence, or deepening understanding in a subject critical to your goals. When you prioritize learning strategically, every hour spent becomes an asset rather than a mere pastime. Purpose transforms effort into meaningful progress. Consistency is the backbone of effective learning. Sporadic bursts of study or occasional reading do not create mastery. Knowledge and skill grow through repetition, practice, and reflection. Even 15 to 30 focused minutes daily, repeated over weeks and months, produces more long-term benefit than irregular, intensive sessions. Creating a structured routine for learning ensures that growth becomes habitual. Over 6 months, these consistent efforts will compound, creating capabilities that might have seemed unattainable when starting. Active learning amplifies retention and application. Passive consumption, such as simply listening to audiobooks or watching videos, offers limited transformation unless coupled with engagement. Take notes, summarize concepts in your own words, or practice skills immediately after learning. Testing yourself, teaching others, or applying ideas in real-world situations converts knowledge into actionable competence. The brain remembers what is used, not what is merely observed. By actively engaging with material, you transform learning from a theoretical exercise into practical power. Time management is critical in this process. Learning requires deliberate allocation of hours amid competing demands. Treat education as a non-negotiable appointment, protected from interruptions. Prioritize tasks that support skill acquisition over trivial distractions. Small pockets of focused time, if used consistently, accumulate into profound expertise. The goal is not to consume every book or resource, but to ensure that the time you invest translates into capability, insight, and actionable knowledge. Variety in learning strengthens cognitive flexibility. Engaging with diverse sources, perspectives, and disciplines prevents stagnation and expands problem-solving capacity. Exposure to different methodologies, philosophies, and ideas stimulates creativity and equips you to handle complex challenges. Cross-disciplinary learning fosters connections that are not immediately obvious, but prove invaluable in innovation and decision-making. By investing time across complementary domains, you cultivate a mind that is adaptable, resilient, and capable of approaching problems from multiple angles. Reflection consolidates learning. Knowledge without integration remains inert. After engaging with material or practicing a skill, take time to internalize insights. Ask yourself, how does this apply to my goals? What patterns emerge? How can I implement these concepts effectively? Reflection bridges the gap between acquisition and mastery, turning passive understanding into actionable wisdom. Each reflective session strengthens retention, clarifies relevance, and enhances your ability to apply learning under pressure. Application is inseparable from investment. Time devoted to learning achieves its ultimate value only when knowledge informs action. Practice newly acquired skills in realistic scenarios, experiment with strategies, and take calculated risks with your insights. Action validates learning, reveals gaps, and accelerates growth. Each attempt, successful or flawed, generates experience that deepens understanding. Without application, time spent learning risks being theoretical rather than transformative. Immediate integration into real-world contexts ensures that every minute invested yields tangible returns. Curiosity fuels sustainable growth. Approach learning with genuine interest rather than obligation. Curiosity encourages exploration, deepens engagement, and makes the process inherently rewarding. When curiosity drives study, effort feels natural, focus improves, and retention strengthens. Cultivating curiosity turns learning from a task into a lifestyle. Over 6 months, a mindset of inquiry transforms not only skills but perspective, making every encounter an opportunity to grow. Accountability reinforces consistency. Share your learning goals with a mentor, peer, or through a structured plan that tracks progress. Public or self-imposed accountability ensures that the commitment to growth is maintained, even when motivation wanes. Knowing that you will report progress or apply knowledge creates pressure that strengthens discipline. Over time, this accountability ingrains a habit of investment in learning that becomes self-sustaining. Adaptability ensures learning remains relevant. Not every method, book, or course will perfectly suit your needs. Evaluate effectiveness regularly. Replace approaches that yield minimal results with strategies that accelerate understanding. Flexibility allows you to refine learning processes, identify the most impactful resources, and tailor efforts to align with evolving goals. Investing time effectively is not about sheer volume, but about precision and responsiveness. The mind grows fastest when challenged intelligently, rather than overloaded indiscriminately. Time invested in learning compounds through cumulative advantage. Skills learned today enhance the efficiency of future growth. As knowledge accumulates, the ability to comprehend more complex ideas, solve harder problems, and implement strategies with sophistication increases exponentially. Early investments in learning create leverage, magnifying returns over months. 6 months of deliberate, focused study and practice will place you ahead of peers who rely on instinct, habit, or chance. Compounding knowledge transforms effort into disproportionate result. Emotional resilience enhances the learning process. The acquisition of new skills and knowledge often involves discomfort, failure, and repeated attempts. Cultivating patience and maintaining perspective ensures that temporary setbacks do not undermine commitment. Each mistake is a feedback mechanism, providing insight into areas requiring improvement. Embracing challenges as opportunities strengthens character and ensures that learning is sustained even under pressure. The disciplined mind treats errors as milestones, not obstacles, and growth becomes inevitable. Integration across life domains magnifies the effect of learning. Insights gained in one area often improve performance in others. Leadership principles may enhance personal relationships. Problem-solving strategies may improve productivity. Emotional intelligence may boost decision-making and resilience. By consciously linking lessons across contexts, the value of each invested hour multiplies. 6 months of focused learning does not merely create knowledge, it reshapes how you approach every aspect of your life. Celebration reinforces commitment. Recognize milestones achieved in your learning journey. Completing a course, mastering a skill, or implementing a new idea warrants acknowledgement. Rewarding progress strengthens motivation, reinforces positive habits, and signals that effort is both valuable and visible. These celebrations create positive feedback loops, encouraging sustained engagement and continued investment in self-development. Investing time in learning is the cornerstone of transformation. It turns ordinary potential into tangible capability, reactive thinking into strategic decision-making, and passivity into deliberate action. Each hour spent reading, practicing, reflecting, or experimenting is a seed sown for a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. In 6 months, consistent investment in learning reshapes competence, confidence, and identity. Knowledge becomes a scaffold upon which ambition is realized, decisions are improved, and opportunities are seized with precision. The journey of learning requires discipline, persistence, and intentionality. Protect time rigorously, engage actively, apply relentlessly, and reflect continuously. Each day offers the chance to grow intellectually, emotionally, and practically. 6 months of this disciplined, intentional practice will produce transformation visible not only in skills and knowledge, but in mindset, resilience, and ability to act decisively. Investing time in learning is not simply an activity, it is the mechanism through which ordinary effort converts into extraordinary results. Commit fully to the process. Prioritize high-value knowledge, structure consistent practice, embrace active engagement, and integrate learning into real-life application. Track progress, remain curious, and adapt methods to maximize effectiveness. Every hour invested compounds, building capability, confidence, and foresight. By devoting time to learning with focus and purpose, you set the stage for a life of accelerated growth, strategic mastery, and sustained excellence. 6 months of disciplined investment in learning is not just preparation, it is transformation in motion. Number 5. Surround yourself with growth. The environment you inhabit shapes your thoughts, actions, and ultimately your life more than most people realize. Transformation is rarely achieved in isolation. The people, influences, and spaces you surround yourself with either elevate you or anchor you in stagnation. To change everything in 6 months, it is essential to cultivate an ecosystem that consistently encourages growth, challenges limitations, and reinforces positive behavior. Surrounding yourself with growth is not merely about networking or socializing. It is a deliberate strategy to align your external world with your internal ambition. Begin by evaluating your current surroundings. Take stock of the people you spend the most time with, the media you consume, and the spaces you occupy. Ask yourself, do these elements inspire action, learning, and discipline, or do they drain energy, normalize mediocrity, and reinforce excuses? Honest assessment may be uncomfortable, but clarity is necessary. Habits, beliefs, and standards are often absorbed unconsciously from our environment. The company you keep can either stretch your potential or limit it without your awareness. Investing in relationships with growth-oriented individuals accelerates transformation. Seek out people who embody the qualities, skills, and mindset you aspire to develop. These relationships provide accountability, insight, and motivation. Surrounding yourself with those who challenge you intellectually, ethically, and emotionally raises your own standards. They push you to think differently, act boldly, and persevere when challenges arise. Interaction with such individuals creates a feedback loop. Exposure to high performance inspires higher performance, while dialogue, observation, and shared experience continuously shape your habits and decision-making. Avoid influences that undermine your progress. Toxic relationships, energy-draining interactions, and negative environments consume attention, distract from goals, and erode confidence. Protect your time and energy by setting boundaries with individuals or spaces that reinforce complacency, distraction, or destructive behavior. Saying no is not selfish, it is strategic. Every hour spent in unproductive or limiting surroundings is an hour diverted from your potential. Growth requires intentional curation of both people and spaces. Physical spaces also communicate and reinforce behavior. Organize your environment to reflect ambition and discipline. A cluttered, chaotic workspace impairs focus and creativity, while a structured, purposeful environment encourages clarity and efficiency. Surround yourself with tools, resources, and stimuli that support learning, productivity, and reflection. Environmental cues have a subtle but profound effect on your daily actions. By shaping your surroundings, you reduce resistance, increase consistency, and make growth the natural default rather than a struggle against inertia. Media consumption is equally influential. The books you read, The videos you watch and the information you absorb daily shape your mindset and perspective. Limit exposure to content that breeds fear, doubt, or distraction. Curate sources that educate, motivate, and inspire action. Consuming ideas from accomplished individuals, mentors, and thought leaders amplifies your own capabilities. Growth-oriented media provides new strategies, frameworks, and mental models that accelerate problem-solving, decision-making, and skill development. Mentorship is a powerful mechanism for growth. Learning from someone who has already achieved what you aspire to accomplish shortens your path and reduces costly errors. A mentor provides guidance, perspective, and honest critique, helping you navigate obstacles with greater efficiency. Seek individuals who not only share knowledge but also challenge complacency, question assumptions, and encourage continuous improvement. The combination of experience, accountability, and insight from a mentor is an invaluable multiplier in your personal and professional development. Collaboration with like-minded peers fosters creativity and resilience. Engage in communities, groups, or teams where ambition, discipline, and growth are shared values. Collective energy magnifies individual effort, encourages accountability, and introduces diverse perspectives. Surrounding yourself with people committed to improvement creates a culture of high standards and mutual reinforcement. This dynamic accelerates learning, encourages experimentation, and inspires persistence in the face of setbacks. The synergy of multiple growth-oriented individuals amplifies your capacity far beyond what isolated effort can achieve. Reflection and evaluation of your environment must be ongoing. Growth is not static. People, situations, and influences change. Regularly assess whether your surroundings continue to serve your long-term goals. Adjust relationships, seek new mentors, and refine spaces to maintain alignment with your evolving aspirations. Vigilance ensures that complacency, stagnation, or destructive influences do not creep into your life unnoticed. Intentional curation is a continual process, requiring discernment, courage, and discipline. Boundaries are essential for sustaining an environment conducive to growth. Protect your mental and emotional energy by limiting engagement with negativity, distraction, or unproductive obligations. This is not avoidance. It is preservation of focus and clarity. Strong boundaries create space for learning, reflection, action, and skill development. They allow you to direct energy toward initiatives that have tangible impact, ensuring that every interaction and decision contributes to growth rather than diminishes it. Intentionality in growth also extends to feedback. Surround yourself with individuals who are willing to provide constructive criticism and honest assessment. Growth thrives on insight that challenges assumptions, reveals blind spots, and highlights opportunities for improvement. Constructive feedback, when coupled with reflection and action, accelerates skill acquisition and strengthens decision-making. Without it, development remains slow, reliant on trial and error and personal bias. Seek feedback actively and apply it consistently. Cultural and intellectual diversity enhances growth. Engaging with people from different backgrounds, industries, and perspectives broadens thinking and stimulates innovation. Exposure to varied ideas challenges rigid assumptions and expands problem-solving capability. It fosters empathy, flexibility, and the ability to operate effectively in complex, interconnected environments. Surrounding yourself with diversity is not about superficial interaction, but about seeking depth, challenge, and enrichment that accelerates personal evolution. Consistency and engagement with growth-focused environments is vital. Short-term exposure produces temporary inspiration. Long-term immersion builds character, habits, and capability. Regular interaction with mentors, peers, and stimulating content ensures that momentum is maintained and cumulative progress occurs. Habits, mindset, and skills are reinforced daily, gradually reshaping identity and potential. Over 6 months, the compounding effect of sustained exposure becomes undeniable, creating transformative change. Opportunities for growth are amplified when combined with proactive action. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is not passive. Engage deeply with resources, ask questions, implement lessons, and participate actively. Learning from others is most effective when applied in your own context, tested and refined. The combination of an enabling environment and deliberate effort multiplies impact, ensuring that every moment contributes meaningfully to your transformation. The psychological impact of growth-oriented surroundings cannot be understated. When excellence, discipline, and progress are normalized in your daily environment, they become internalized. Standards rise naturally, motivation strengthens, and limiting beliefs weaken. Exposure to consistent performance and achievement creates a benchmark for your own behavior. Mediocrity becomes uncomfortable, while improvement feels natural. This subtle, continuous influence shapes identity and fosters a mindset aligned with mastery rather than complacency. Surrounding yourself with growth is not a superficial exercise. It is a deliberate strategy for transformation. It requires awareness, discernment, and active curation of people, spaces, and influences. It demands boundaries, consistent engagement, and reflection to ensure alignment with evolving goals. By embedding yourself in environments that challenge, inspire, and educate, you accelerate learning, reinforce discipline, and expand capability. Every choice in surroundings compounds, shaping daily behavior and long-term outcomes. The 6-month transformation depends on the ecosystem you cultivate. Growth cannot occur in isolation or under the influence of mediocrity. By surrounding yourself with individuals who elevate you, mentors who guide you, peers who challenge you, and spaces that inspire you, every day becomes an opportunity for progress. The compounding effect of these influences, combined with consistent action and reflection, transforms potential into skill, intention into results, and ambition into achievement. Commit to evaluating and redesigning your environment immediately. Seek people, spaces, and experiences that amplify growth. Remove those that hinder it, and immerse yourself consistently in stimuli that reinforce high performance. Over 6 months, this deliberate alignment will shape identity, elevate standards, and produce results far beyond what isolated effort can achieve. Surrounding yourself with growth is not optional. It is the foundation upon which extraordinary transformation is built. Number 6. Focus on one priority. The human mind is easily scattered, pulled in multiple directions by demands, distractions, and ambitions. True transformation, however, is achieved not through fragmented attention, but through concentrated, deliberate focus on what matters most. To change everything in 6 months, it is essential to identify a single priority and direct the majority of your energy, time, and resources toward it. Focusing on one priority is not a limitation. It is the strategy that magnifies impact, accelerates results, and transforms effort into meaningful progress. Clarity is the first step in focus. Before attention can be concentrated, you must determine which goal or project is the most critical at this moment. This requires ruthless assessment of importance versus urgency. Many tasks feel pressing, but offer little long-term value. The priority you choose should align with your ultimate objectives and have the greatest potential to shift your life forward. Without this clarity, scattered efforts dilute impact and extend the path to meaningful change. Once the priority is identified, allocate time and energy deliberately. Multitasking is an illusion. Dividing focus reduces efficiency, quality, and depth of engagement. Protect your primary focus with boundaries that prevent interruption. Dedicate blocks of time to deep, uninterrupted work on this priority, ideally when energy and mental clarity are highest. Early mornings for many provide a window of minimal distractions and heightened focus. Treat this time as sacred, non-negotiable, and insulated from external demands. Eliminate distractions that compete for attention. Notifications, social media, non-essential obligations, and low-value interactions erode focus. Awareness alone is insufficient. Proactive removal of interruptions is required. Silence devices, declutter workspaces, and communicate boundaries to others. Focus is fragile, and external disruptions can quickly derail momentum. By engineering an environment that protects attention, you ensure that energy is directed entirely toward the chosen priority. Discipline is cultivated through repetition. Consistently returning attention to the priority strengthens mental resilience and solidifies the habit of focused work. Each session reinforces neural pathways associated with sustained concentration, making it progressively easier to enter states of deep engagement. Momentum is built through repeated, deliberate action rather than sporadic bursts of effort. Over 6 months, the cumulative effect of disciplined focus produces results that far exceed fragmented attempts. Break the priority into actionable steps. A large goal can feel overwhelming and diffuse attention if approached without structure. Identify the subtasks that contribute directly to progress and sequence them in a logical order. Completion of these smaller milestones creates measurable wins that maintain motivation while advancing toward the ultimate objective. Each step taken is both evidence of progress and reinforcement of the habit of singular focus. Prioritization requires constant evaluation. Situations evolve, and opportunities or obstacles may emerge. Regularly assess whether the chosen focus remains the most impactful use of energy. If another task arises with disproportionate influence on your ultimate goal, adjust accordingly. Singular focus does not imply rigidity. It requires responsiveness guided by a clear understanding of long-term objectives. Maintaining flexibility within focus ensures that attention is always applied to the most meaningful endeavor. Mental energy is finite. Focusing on one priority maximizes the effectiveness of limited resources. Attempting to advance multiple goals simultaneously spreads energy thin, leading to partial progress in many areas but mastery in none. By concentrating on the most impactful priority, you achieve depth and proficiency rapidly. The results are amplified because effort is concentrated, feedback is clear, and adjustments can be made with precision. Reflection enhances effectiveness. At the end of each day or work session, evaluate how much progress was made toward the priority. Identify distractions, inefficiencies, or strategies that succeeded. This practice not only reinforces accountability but also provides insight into how to improve focus in future sessions. Continuous feedback loops strengthen performance and ensure that daily effort contributes maximally to long-term objectives. Resilience is key to maintaining focus. Challenges, setbacks, and competing demands are inevitable. Commitment to one priority requires emotional stability, patience, and persistence. When progress stalls or obstacles appear, returning attention to the primary objective without succumbing to frustration is critical. The capacity to refocus repeatedly builds strength of character and ensures momentum is maintained despite external or internal resistance. Visualization reinforces focus by connecting effort to outcome. Imagine the impact of achieving the priority, the skills gained, the opportunities unlocked, the life transformed. Engaging the mind in vivid imagery strengthens commitment and primes action. Each time you return to your focus, recall this vision to reinforce purpose and intensify effort. Motivation rooted in clarity and emotional engagement fuels sustained concentration over weeks and months. Boundaries with non-essential tasks protect focus. Saying no is a skill of the disciplined individual. Minor obligations, interruptions, and low-value activities must be deferred, delegated, or eliminated. Each refusal reinforces the importance of your priority and maintains the integrity of concentrated effort. Boundaries are not restrictions. They are instruments that preserve energy and protect progress. Without them, focus is diluted and outcomes are delayed. The compounding effect of focus is profound. Singular attention amplifies learning, skill acquisition, and execution. Mistakes are fewer, feedback is clearer, and improvement accelerates. Over 6 months, dedicated focus on one priority produces exponential growth compared to divided attention spread across multiple areas. Mastery, competence, and achievement emerge not from effort alone, but from directed effort applied consistently to what matters most. Focus cultivates self-discipline beyond the immediate priority. By practicing singular attention, mental control strengthens across all areas of life. The ability to resist distraction, persist through discomfort, and maintain clarity under pressure becomes internalized. This discipline extends to other domains, creating a mindset of deliberate action, strategic decision-making, and sustained progress. Singular focus becomes a skill that reshapes identity and capability. Integration of secondary actions must support the primary priority. Every decision, task, and interaction should be evaluated for its alignment with the main goal. Low-value tasks should be minimized or eliminated entirely, while auxiliary activities should be consciously designed to reinforce or complement the priority. Alignment between daily effort and long-term ambition ensures that every moment contributes meaningfully, creating a trajectory toward transformation that is both deliberate and unstoppable. Momentum is maintained through measurable progress. Break the priority into milestones, track completion, and celebrate each success. Recognition reinforces motivation, strengthens discipline, and validates the strategy of singular focus. Momentum is self-reinforcing. Small, visible wins encourage continued effort, creating a cascade of productivity and achievement that accelerates transformation over time. Focusing on one priority does not imply ignoring life's necessities. It is about intelligent allocation of effort. Household obligations, health routines, and essential relationships must be maintained, but secondary ambitions, distractions, and low-value tasks are deferred. Time and energy are treated as finite and precious resources, and the priority receives the largest share. This allocation maximizes impact and accelerates progress toward meaningful transformation. The 6-month transformation is driven by the cumulative effect of consistent focus. Each day spent in concentrated effort builds skill, insight, and momentum. Each challenge faced, distraction resisted, and milestone achieved compounds, creating results that are disproportionate to the effort measured in isolation. Singular focus is the mechanism by which ordinary action becomes extraordinary impact, and potential is converted into tangible accomplishment. Commit fully to the process of prioritization. Identify your single most important objective. Eliminate competing distractions. Structure your time intentionally, and protect mental energy relentlessly. Measure progress daily. Adjust strategies when necessary, and maintain resilience in the face of obstacles. Over 6 months, focused effort produces mastery, confidence, and outcomes that transform your trajectory entirely. Singular focus is not limitation, it is leverage. The person who directs all attention to one priority achieves more than the one who divides energy across many, creating profound and lasting change. Number 7. Reflect weekly. Adjust next. Growth without reflection is directionless effort. Progress requires not only action, but also deliberate assessment of results, behaviors, and strategies. To change everything in 6 months, it is critical to step back each week, examine what has worked, what has faltered, and how to course correct. Weekly reflection is the mechanism that transforms activity into mastery, allowing lessons to crystallize, insights to emerge, and priorities to be sharpened. Without it, even consistent effort risks repeating mistakes, reinforcing inefficiencies, and drifting from meaningful goals. Reflection ensures that your journey is guided by clarity, wisdom, and intentionality rather than by chance or habit. Begin by reviewing accomplishments. Take inventory of every task, project, or action completed over the week. Look beyond superficial outcomes and consider the quality, impact, and alignment of each effort with your long-term objectives. Ask yourself, which actions propelled me forward? Which efforts consumed time without producing results? This review is not about self-judgment, but about acquiring awareness. By measuring what has been achieved versus what was intended, you create a foundation for intelligent adjustments and future success. Analyze challenges and obstacles. Every week presents hurdles, whether external interruptions, internal resistance, or unforeseen complications. Understanding these barriers is essential to prevent repetition and to build resilience. Examine the circumstances, your responses, and the consequences. Did fear, procrastination, or distraction limit your progress? Did external factors reveal gaps in preparation or strategy? Identifying the root causes of setbacks provides insight into how to modify behavior, approach, or planning to ensure that similar obstacles are less disruptive in the future. Track patterns and trends. Weekly reflection reveals recurring behaviors that influence performance. Perhaps certain tasks consistently take longer than anticipated, or energy dips occur at predictable times. Observing patterns allows you to make strategic adjustments, whether by reallocating energy, modifying routines, or addressing inefficiencies. Patterns often reveal underlying habits that either accelerate or impede progress. Recognizing them provides actionable intelligence, enabling you to optimize workflow and increase productivity systematically. Evaluate alignment with long-term objectives. Reflection is an opportunity to ensure that weekly actions contribute meaningfully to larger goals. Some tasks, while completed efficiently, may not advance the most critical priorities. Ask, did my efforts this week move me closer to my overarching ambitions? If certain activities are misaligned, determine whether they can be eliminated, delegated, or adjusted. Maintaining alignment prevents wasted effort, reinforces focus, and ensures that energy is spent on what truly matters rather than on distractions or minor obligations. Incorporate lessons learned. Every success and failure contains insight. Reflecting weekly allows you to extract principles and actionable strategies from experience. What approaches yielded strong results? Which behaviors or mindsets hindered progress? How can processes be improved for efficiency and effectiveness? Capturing lessons transforms experiences into wisdom, allowing subsequent actions to be informed, deliberate, and more likely to produce the desired outcomes. Reflection is a feedback loop that converts experience into intelligence, which accelerates growth. Adjust priorities and strategies accordingly. Reflection is not passive. It is an active process that requires recalibration. If certain tasks or methods are ineffective, modify them immediately. Shift energy toward approaches that have proven impactful. If a goal is taking longer than expected, consider breaking it into smaller, more achievable milestones. Adjustments ensure momentum is maintained and that the trajectory of progress is continuously optimized. Without timely recalibration, effort can be misdirected, reducing effectiveness despite consistent activity. Document reflections. Writing observations, insights, and adjustments solidifies learning and provides a record of growth over time. Journaling weekly reflections creates a reference to track progress, identify trends, and evaluate evolution in behavior, skills, and mindset. Documentation makes the abstract tangible, allows for accountability, and provides perspective when challenges or doubts arise. Reviewing past reflections reinforces lessons and illustrates the cumulative impact of consistent, intentional effort. Evaluate emotional and mental state. Reflection is not only about external accomplishments, but also about internal resilience. Consider how stress, motivation, focus, and emotional responses influenced performance over the week. Were there moments of clarity or distraction? Did confidence fluctuate? Understanding emotional patterns allows for targeted strategies to maintain stability, enhance focus, and optimize performance. Mental clarity and emotional balance are as critical to progress as skill or knowledge. Reflection integrates both the inner and outer dimensions of growth. Identify opportunities for improvement. Weekly reflection highlights gaps in skills, knowledge, and execution. Pinpoint areas that require additional focus, practice, or learning. This forward-looking perspective ensures that development is continuous, rather than reactive. By identifying weak points early, you can allocate resources, energy, and attention to strengthen them before they become obstacles. Improvement is a deliberate, proactive process, fueled by consistent assessment and targeted action. Celebrate wins. Reflection is also an opportunity to recognize accomplishments, no matter how small. Acknowledging progress reinforces motivation, builds confidence, and provides emotional reinforcement for continued effort. Celebrating wins is not indulgent. It is a critical component of sustaining energy and commitment. By noting victories, you cultivate a positive mindset that reinforces habit formation, discipline, and the pursuit of excellence. Each acknowledgement strengthens momentum and resilience for the week ahead. Integrate reflection into planning. Weekly assessment naturally leads to more effective planning for the next period. Use insights gained to prioritize tasks, allocate energy, and set realistic, impactful goals for the coming week. By linking reflection directly to action, each week becomes a building block, progressively shaping competence, discipline, and outcomes. The cycle of review and adjustment transforms incremental learning into cumulative mastery, ensuring that 6 months of consistent effort yields tangible transformation. Embrace honesty and evaluation. Excuses and rationalizations compromise the effectiveness of reflection. Confront reality with clarity. Recognize both strengths and weaknesses, successes and failures. Honest self-assessment builds accountability and cultivates a mindset of ownership. Progress accelerates when the truth of performance is acknowledged and acted upon, rather than ignored or sugar-coated. Integrity and reflection strengthens self-mastery and positions action for maximum effectiveness. Use reflection to reinforce focus. Reviewing the week provides insight into whether energy and attention were directed toward high-impact activities. If distractions, minor tasks, or low-value engagements consume disproportionate time, recalibrate to ensure that future effort aligns with priority goals. Reflection ensures that focus is deliberate, sustained and guided by purpose rather than habit or impulse. Reflection enhances problem-solving skills. Weekly assessment provides space to evaluate decisions, strategies, and outcomes. Consider alternative approaches, potential optimizations, and innovative solutions to challenges encountered. By thinking critically about performance and outcomes, you build a habit of continuous improvement and adaptive intelligence, enabling more effective navigation of obstacles and faster achievement of goals. Reflection creates resilience. Observing patterns, adjusting strategies, and acknowledging progress reduces frustration and enhances confidence. When setbacks occur, the practice of reflection provides perspective, emphasizing learning over failure. This cultivates emotional stability, mental toughness, and the capacity to persevere. Weekly reflection transforms challenges into data for growth, rather than sources of discouragement or distraction. Integrating reflection and adjustment ensures that effort is maximized. Action without assessment risks wasted time, while assessment without action achieves nothing. The combination creates a dynamic system: observe, learn, recalibrate, act, and repeat. This cyclical process ensures that each week contributes meaningfully to overall growth, building momentum, refining strategy, and accelerating results. 6 months of disciplined weekly reflection produces profound transformation, far beyond what unstructured effort can achieve. Commit to weekly reflection as a ritual. Set aside dedicated time to review achievements, obstacles, emotional patterns, and priorities. Document insights, celebrate wins, adjust strategies, and plan next steps with clarity and intention. Each week becomes a microcosm of growth, compounding into long-term mastery. Reflection without delay reinforces accountability, focus, and resilience, ensuring that the journey toward transformation is both intentional and unstoppable. The practice of reflecting weekly and adjusting next actions is a cornerstone of meaningful change. It bridges effort and results, transforming consistent action into deliberate progress. Through honest evaluation, strategic adjustment, and application of lessons learned, each week becomes a stepping stone toward mastery, skill, and accomplishment. 6 months of disciplined weekly reflection ensures that your trajectory is intentional, your growth is measurable, and your results are undeniable. Number 8. Take risks, embrace change. Growth and transformation are impossible without stepping beyond the familiar. Change is inherently uncomfortable, and risk is the vehicle that propels you forward into realms of potential previously unreachable. To change everything in 6 months, embracing calculated risks and accepting uncertainty is essential. Staying within the comfort zone offers security but guarantees stagnation. Every opportunity to challenge yourself, take initiative, or try something new is a chance to expand capability, strengthen resilience, and accelerate progress. Risk is not recklessness. It is intentional action taken despite uncertainty, guided by purpose, strategy, and self-awareness. The first step toward embracing change is understanding the fear that holds you back. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, signaling potential danger, but also alerting you to the edge of growth. Identify the specific anxieties that prevent action. Are you afraid of failure, criticism, or loss? Articulating the exact source of hesitations transforms abstract fear into a concrete challenge that can be addressed systematically. Recognizing fear without being controlled by it allows deliberate, confident movement toward opportunity. Calculated risk requires preparation. Before leaping into change, gather information, develop skills, and assess potential outcomes. Preparation reduces the likelihood of unnecessary mistakes, while maintaining the forward momentum necessary for growth. Research, planning, and scenario evaluation provide a foundation of confidence from which action becomes feasible. Preparation does not eliminate uncertainty entirely, but it equips you to navigate challenges intelligently and adapt to evolving circumstances. Action in the face of uncertainty builds courage. The act of taking a risk, no matter how small, strengthens confidence and reinforces the capacity to handle discomfort. Each calculated step beyond comfort reduces hesitation and subsequent decision. Courage is cultivated through repetition. It grows as you prove to yourself that you can endure challenges, adapt to unexpected outcomes, and recover from setbacks. The more consistently risk is embraced, the more habitual bravery becomes, transforming fear into fuel for progress. Change requires flexibility. The world is dynamic, and rigid adherence to old patterns limits potential. Embracing change involves a mindset that is open to experimentation, adaptation, and innovation. Challenges, failures, and unexpected circumstances are not obstacles but data points guiding evolution. Each shift provides insight into what works, what doesn't, and how strategies can be optimized. Flexibility allows you to pivot without losing momentum, transforming uncertainty into opportunity. Action must be proportional to ambition. Small, manageable risks taken consistently often produce more cumulative impact than sporadic, large leaps. Each step beyond comfort, taken with intention and focus, compounds over time. Incremental challenges strengthen skills, build resilience, and expand confidence gradually, while minimizing catastrophic consequences. This approach transforms risk-taking into a sustainable practice, rather than a gamble. Failure is an inevitable companion to risk, but it is also a powerful teacher. Every setback contains lessons that accelerate growth if analyzed and applied. Embracing change involves reframing failure not as a reflection of worth, but as feedback that informs future decisions. The ability to learn rapidly from mistakes, adjust strategy, and persist despite adversity is a hallmark of individuals who achieve transformation. Failure, when approached constructively, becomes a stepping stone rather than a barrier. Evaluate potential gains versus potential loss. Not every risk is worth taking, but understanding the balance between reward and consequence enables intelligent decision-making. Prioritize risks that offer significant upside while remaining within the bounds of your capacity to manage challenges. Strategic risk-taking aligns action with long-term objectives, ensuring that every step forward contributes meaningfully to growth rather than producing chaos or regression. Support systems enhance the courage to embrace change. Surrounding yourself with mentors, peers, and environments that encourage experimentation, provide guidance, and offer perspective strengthens resolve. Feedback, shared experience, and collective wisdom reduce uncertainty and increase confidence. The influence of growth-oriented individuals makes risks less intimidating and increases the likelihood of successful adaptation. Collaboration and accountability provide both protection and momentum in the pursuit of change. Developing a mindset oriented toward opportunity transforms perception. Rather than viewing change as threatening, see it as a gateway to expansion, skill acquisition, and new experience. Risks are reframed as challenges to test potential rather than obstacles to avoid. This mental shift turns anxiety into motivation, hesitation into decisive action, and stagnation into progress. Opportunity-focused thinking accelerates action, ensuring that comfort is not confused with safety and growth is not delayed. Incremental experimentation is key. Start with smaller risks that stretch capabilities without overwhelming resources or confidence. Each success builds momentum and teaches valuable lessons about strategy, resilience, and decision-making. Gradually increasing the magnitude of risks ensures that adaptation is continuous and sustainable. This iterative approach balances progress with prudence, producing consistent growth while minimizing catastrophic consequences. Decision-making under uncertainty strengthens mental acuity. Taking risks hones judgment, improves problem-solving, and reinforces self-trust. Every choice to embrace change, provides data that refines intuition and increases competence in assessing opportunities and dangers. Over 6 months, repeated engagement with uncertainty accelerates cognitive development, emotional resilience, and practical wisdom, producing an individual capable of navigating complex environments with confidence. Consistency in embracing change compounds impact. Transformation is not achieved through isolated acts of bravery, but through repeated, deliberate choices to confront discomfort, explore new methods, and implement innovative solutions. Each risk reinforces the skill of adaptation, and each adaptation produces growth that extends beyond immediate circumstances. The cumulative effect of persistent risk-taking and openness to change reshapes identity, capability, and outcome. Self-reflection amplifies the benefits of risk-taking. After each action, analyze what occurred, how it felt, and what could be improved. Identify patterns in responses, decision-making, and adaptation. Reflection ensures that risks are not taken blindly, but are leveraged as learning opportunities. Lessons extracted from experience accelerate skill acquisition and enhance future performance. The combination of action and reflection ensures that risk becomes a tool for systematic growth rather than a source of chaos. Commitment to long-term vision guides calculated risk. Embracing change without direction can be reckless. Purpose ensures that risk serves transformation rather than novelty. Align each action with strategic goals, values, and aspirations. When risk is tethered to meaningful objectives, courage becomes deliberate, decisions become informed, and outcomes become impactful. Vision-focused risk-taking transforms discomfort into meaningful opportunity. Resilience is built through repeated engagement with uncertainty. Emotional endurance, adaptability, and confidence grow when challenges are faced intentionally. Setbacks, surprises, and failures are not signs to retreat, but opportunities to strengthen resolve. Over time, embracing change reduces fear response, expands tolerance for ambiguity, and enhances capacity to navigate complex challenges. Resilience becomes a byproduct of deliberate exposure to risk. Embrace change as a constant. Life is dynamic, and the willingness to evolve with circumstances, adopt new strategies, and adjust behaviors ensures sustained relevance and impact. Resistance to change creates stagnation. Acceptance fosters growth. By internalizing change as a natural and necessary element of life, every disruption or challenge becomes a catalyst for improvement rather than a source of stress. Celebrating courage reinforces momentum. Acknowledge each instance of risk-taking and adaptation, regardless of outcome. Recognition of bravery strengthens confidence, reinforces commitment to growth, and conditions the mind to approach future uncertainty with readiness and composure. Celebrated progress motivates further action, creating a compounding cycle of courage, learning, and transformation. The 6-month journey toward transformation demands deliberate risk-taking and embrace of change. Every calculated step beyond comfort expands skill, strengthens resilience, and accelerates progress. Fear becomes a signal rather than a barrier. Uncertainty becomes an arena for growth, and setbacks become teachers rather than obstacles. Individuals who act decisively, adapt intelligently, and persist courageously produce results far beyond those who remain anchored in familiarity. Commit to facing uncertainty and pursuing calculated risks. Identify opportunities for growth, prepare adequately, take action decisively, reflect on outcomes, and adjust strategies continuously. Over 6 months, the combination of courage, adaptability, and persistence transforms potential into skill, hesitation into momentum, and vision into tangible accomplishment. Risk and change are not hazards. They are the instruments of transformation, shaping the extraordinary life you intend to create. Number 9. Eliminate distractions ruthlessly now. Distractions are the silent killers of ambition. Every day, attention is assaulted by notifications, obligations, noise, and the constant pull of trivialities, masquerading as importance. To change everything in 6 months, it is essential to treat focus as a resource more valuable than money, more critical than time, and more fragile than a flame in the wind. Eliminating distractions is not a casual exercise. It is a deliberate, disciplined act of self-preservation and strategic empowerment. Every interruption diverted, every unnecessary engagement avoided, compounds into clarity, productivity, and accelerated progress towards your most meaningful goal. The first step is recognition. Identify what consistently diverts attention, drains energy, or fragments thought. Distractions can be digital, such as social media, emails, or messaging apps. They can be environmental, like noise, clutter, or chaotic spaces. They can also be internal, negative thoughts, indecision, or reactive emotions that pull focus from deliberate action. Awareness is critical because hidden distractions, left unchecked, silently erode progress, despite disciplined effort in other areas. A clear, honest inventory of all diversions is the foundation for elimination. Digital interruptions are among the most pervasive. The constant ping of notifications, the pull of news feeds, or the temptation to check messages fragments attention and prevents sustained focus. To counter this, implement strict controls, silence notifications, schedule specific times for checking email or messages, and create digital boundaries that protect high-value work periods. The goal is not avoidance of the world, but intentional control of attention. Each moment reclaimed from distraction is a moment invested in growth, skill, or action that moves you closer to transformation. Physical clutter and disorganization are equally destructive. A chaotic environment creates cognitive friction, making it difficult to concentrate or maintain momentum. Organize workspaces, remove unnecessary items, and arrange tools, materials, and resources for easy access. A structured space signals the brain to focus, reduces mental load, and allows energy to be directed toward meaningful tasks. Clarity in the external environment reinforces clarity in thought and amplifies the ability to execute effectively. Internal distractions, wandering thoughts, self-doubt, or mental chatter must also be addressed. Techniques such as meditation, mindfulness, or journaling help train the mind to maintain attention on chosen tasks. Recognizing when thoughts drift and gently redirecting focus strengthens concentration. Mental discipline is as essential as physical or environmental control. A scattered mind cannot produce deep work or sustained achievement. Over time, cultivating mental clarity reduces anxiety, improves decision-making, and maximizes the effectiveness of each action. Prioritization reduces the risk of distraction by providing clear direction. When tasks are ambiguous or undefined, attention splinters across low-value activities. Define what is essential, urgent, and aligned with long-term objectives. Allocate energy first to high-impact work, deferring or eliminating tasks that dilute focus. Clear priorities serve as a compass, making it easier to reject distractions without hesitation. Each action taken is deliberate rather than reactive, reinforcing control over time and outcomes. Time blocking is a practical tool to eliminate distraction. Assign specific periods for deep work, learning, rest, and communication. Structured schedules create predictability, reduce decision fatigue, and protect attention. During focused blocks, eliminate all non-essential interruptions. Treat these periods as inviolable appointments with yourself, signaling that high-value work is non-negotiable. Consistency in this practice strengthens habit, builds momentum, and creates a rhythm of concentrated effort that accelerates results. Accountability enhances focus. Share your goals and time-blocked schedule with mentors, peers, or trusted partners who can support adherence and reinforce discipline. When others are aware of your commitment, the psychological pressure to maintain focus increases, reducing susceptibility to distractions. External accountability complements internal discipline, ensuring that attention remains tethered to what matters most. Batching tasks minimizes cognitive load and context switching. Group similar activities together rather than scattering them throughout the day. Transitioning between unrelated tasks consumes mental energy, disrupts flow, and encourages distraction. Efficient sequencing of tasks reduces interruptions, increases efficiency, and preserves focus for high-value endeavors. Batching is a tactical method to streamline attention, allowing sustained effort on the most important objectives. Emotional and social distractions must be managed strategically. Not every request, conversation, or engagement merits immediate attention. Establish boundaries, communicate clearly, and protect focus from unnecessary demands. Social discipline is not avoidance. It is the intelligent allocation of attention toward what advances goals. By managing interpersonal distractions, mental bandwidth is preserved for deliberate action and meaningful contribution. Reflection reinforces the practice of eliminating distractions. At the end of each day, review how attention was allocated. Identify moments when focus was broken, determine the triggers, and adjust systems to prevent recurrence. Continuous refinement strengthens awareness, builds resilience against temptation, and enhances the effectiveness of future effort. Weekly evaluation magnifies results over time, creating compounding benefits from disciplined attention. The compounding effect of focused attention is profound. Every hour spent in deep, undistracted work produces far greater value than scattered effort spread across numerous interruptions. Skills improve faster, decisions are more precise, and goals are achieved with less wasted energy. 6 months of consistent distraction-free effort yields results that appear disproportionate to the time invested. Elimination of distraction transforms ordinary action into extraordinary impact. Discipline is the backbone of distraction control. It requires vigilance, self-awareness, and commitment. The brain naturally seeks ease and comfort, often in the form of distraction. Overcoming this tendency demands structured habits, clear intentions, and repeated reinforcement. By training the mind to resist trivial interruptions, mental stamina grows, concentration deepens, and the ability to perform high-value work consistently becomes automatic. Environmental design reinforces distraction management. Arrange workspaces, tools, and digital interfaces to facilitate attention and reduce friction. Minimize visual clutter, control noise, and ensure necessary resources are readily available. The environment becomes an ally rather than a source of interruption. Strategic design transforms physical and digital spaces into enablers of focus, reducing decision fatigue and increasing the likelihood of sustained engagement. Focus rituals enhance effectiveness. Begin sessions with a deliberate routine that signals the brain to enter a state of concentration. This could include brief planning, breathing exercises, or reviewing objectives. Rituals create psychological and physical cues that prime attention, ensuring that work periods start with clarity and intensity. Consistency in pre-work habits accelerates entry into deep focus and maximizes the value of every session. The urgency of eliminating distractions is immediate. Delay in addressing attention drains compounds losses over time. Each hour spent divided across interruptions and trivialities is an hour of progress deferred. Ruthless prioritization, strategic removal of diversions, and disciplined management of mental, digital, and physical attention create momentum that accelerates transformation. Action today produces exponential effects tomorrow. Sustained elimination of distractions reshapes identity. Individuals who protect attention consistently develop habits of discipline, clarity, and resilience. Focus becomes a default state rather than a struggle. Cognitive efficiency, decision-making capacity, and skill acquisition improve dramatically. Over 6 months, disciplined attention produces transformation that extends beyond individual projects into personal mindset, professional competence, and overall effectiveness. Commit fully to removing distractions. Identify and eliminate low-value tasks. Silence unnecessary notifications. Create structured routines. Enforce boundaries and refine processes continuously. Protect mental and physical environments. Cultivate accountability and design for sustained attention. Each deliberate choice to preserve focus multiplies impact, accelerates results, and transforms potential into measurable achievement. Attention is the currency of transformation. Guard it ruthlessly, invest it deliberately, and watch life shift profoundly in 6 months. Number 10. Celebrate small victories often. Progress is rarely sudden. Transformation occurs through a series of incremental steps, each building upon the last. To change everything in 6 months, recognizing and celebrating small victories is essential. These moments of accomplishment provide energy, motivation, and clarity, reinforcing the behaviors that drive growth. Ignoring minor achievements diminishes momentum, while acknowledging them cultivates confidence and resilience. Success is a collection of micro-wins, and the practice of celebrating them ensures that the journey toward transformation is sustainable, enjoyable, and deeply empowering. Small victories are evidence of action taken and effort applied. Completing a task, sticking to a routine, or overcoming a minor obstacle signals progress. These accomplishments may seem insignificant in isolation, but they accumulate, forming a foundation for larger achievements. Recognizing them allows the mind to internalize capability, reinforcing the belief that challenges can be met and goals are attainable. Celebration is not indulgence. It is strategic reinforcement of behavior that produces results. Begin by identifying what constitutes a small victory in your context. It might be completing a focused work session, successfully replacing a bad habit, learning a new skill, or executing a plan without deviation. By defining what counts, attention is directed to measurable, observable outcomes rather than vague notions of progress. Clarity ensures that victories are recognized consistently, which fuels motivation and creates a positive feedback loop. Acknowledging achievements reinforces confidence. When effort is noticed and celebrated, the brain associates action with reward. This association strengthens habits, encourages repetition, and cultivates the persistence necessary for long-term transformation. Recognition does not require extravagance. Even brief acknowledgement, a personal note, or a mental pause to appreciate success can be powerful. The act of noticing reinforces progress and energizes the pursuit of subsequent goals. Celebration cultivates gratitude. Recognizing small victories fosters awareness of effort, growth, and resilience. Gratitude strengthens mental and emotional well-being, providing stability in the face of challenges. It shifts focus from what remains unaccomplished to what has been achieved, creating a mindset of abundance rather than deficiency. Each victory, no matter the scale, becomes a source of motivation and positivity, sustaining energy and engagement over time. Small victories reinforce discipline. Completing consistent actions, even modest ones, demonstrates the ability to follow through on commitments. Celebration signals that discipline is effective, validating effort and encouraging continuation. Over 6 months, the compounding effect of these small achievements establishes habits, builds skill, and solidifies the identity of someone capable of transformation. Recognition of incremental success bridges effort and larger accomplishments. Reflection enhances celebration. Take time to review accomplishments regularly, noting progress in areas of skill, habit, focus, and resilience. This process provides perspective, illustrating growth that may not be immediately visible. Reflecting on weekly or daily successes highlights improvement, strengthens confidence, and informs strategy for future action. Awareness of cumulative progress reinforces the value of persistence and maintains motivation over extended periods. Celebration motivates further action. Recognition of achievement generates positive emotional energy that fuels subsequent effort. When a small goal is met, momentum builds naturally, making the next challenge more approachable. Each completed step acts as both a reward and a catalyst, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of accomplishment, energy, and determination. Without acknowledgement, effort can feel unrewarding, reducing the likelihood of sustained commitment. Integrating celebration into routines ensures consistency. Establish deliberate rituals to mark progress, whether through journaling, sharing achievements with trusted peers, or a personal acknowledgement practice. Ritualizing recognition embeds reinforcement into the process of growth, ensuring that small victories are neither overlooked nor forgotten. This consistent reinforcement strengthens habits, emotional resilience, and motivation, producing exponential benefits over time. Celebrate progress in multiple dimensions. Achievements are not only measured by results, but also by effort, persistence, learning, and adaptability. Recognize improvements in skills, the courage to act despite fear, consistency and discipline, and the ability to recover from setbacks. Celebrating effort as well as outcomes ensures that motivation is sustained even when immediate results are limited, reinforcing the process that leads to lasting transformation. Sharing victories amplifies impact. Celebrating progress with mentors, peers, or supportive communities provides additional reinforcement. External acknowledgement strengthens internal confidence, while inspiring others encourages reciprocal motivation. Discussion of wins fosters accountability, reinforces commitment, and generates collective energy that elevates performance. Sharing success transforms individual achievement into a broader culture of growth, learning, and inspiration. Balance celebration with humility. Recognition of small victories should motivate without fostering complacency. Each achievement is a milestone, not the endpoint. Celebrate to reinforce behavior and energize action, but maintain focus on the next step. This balance ensures that celebration strengthens progress rather than distracting from ongoing effort, keeping momentum aligned with long-term objectives. Celebrate overcoming obstacles, not just achieving tasks. Growth often involves facing discomfort, confronting fear, or persisting through challenges. Recognizing the courage, resilience, and determination required to navigate difficulties reinforces mental toughness. Each moment of perseverance is a victory that compounds confidence, strengthens character, and builds the capacity to tackle increasingly complex challenges. Use tangible markers to reinforce celebration. Visual cues, notes, checklists, or symbolic gestures create lasting reminders of accomplishment. These markers serve as evidence of progress, maintaining motivation during periods of doubt or difficulty. Tangible reinforcement bridges emotion and memory, enhancing the psychological effect of small victories and sustaining engagement over extended periods. Micro-celebrations prevent burnout. Transformation often demands sustained effort, which can feel exhausting. Recognizing and celebrating incremental successes provides emotional and psychological relief, replenishing energy and maintaining focus. Each acknowledgement acts as a brief pause that refreshes motivation, ensuring that effort is sustainable rather than draining. Regular reinforcement through celebration creates resilience and endurance necessary for long-term change. Celebrate experimentation and learning, not just success. Attempting new strategies, practicing skills, and stepping outside comfort zones all represent victories, regardless of immediate results. Recognition of effort and progress in learning reinforces courage, curiosity, and persistence, making future action more likely. Viewing experimentation as a victory cultivates a mindset that values growth over perfection and resilience over fear. Small victories cultivate a sense of agency. Each acknowledged achievement reinforces the understanding that effort produces results. This sense of control strengthens confidence, reduces dependency on external validation, and fosters proactive behavior. When you see that incremental actions accumulate into meaningful outcomes, motivation to continue grows naturally, creating momentum that drives transformation. Consistency magnifies celebration. Daily recognition of minor successes compounds over time, producing a trajectory of progress that is highly visible and motivating. 6 months of disciplined acknowledgement transforms perception of self, reinforces identity as someone capable of achieving goals, and creates a cumulative sense of accomplishment that accelerates further growth. Commit fully to celebrating victories. Recognize every instance of effort, skill, discipline, courage, and progress. Document them, reflect on them, share them, and let each acknowledgement reinforce the behaviors and mindset necessary for continued transformation. Over 6 months, this practice amplifies motivation, strengthens confidence, and ensures that every step forward, no matter how small, contributes to meaningful and lasting change. Celebrating small victories often is not a luxury, it is a strategic necessity. It reinforces effort, strengthens identity, fuels motivation, and sustains momentum. Each acknowledgement compounds over time, producing measurable psychological, emotional, and practical benefits. Through consistent recognition, small wins accumulate into extraordinary transformation, creating a life shaped by deliberate action, confidence, and the relentless pursuit of meaningful growth.